Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And especially if this is the first video that you've watched with us, a very special welcome to you. Our topic for today is happy marriages or partnerships, and more importantly, how you can have one. We're going to meet some couples who are at various stages of their partnerships and see what they do to keep their happiness level high. It won't be full of tips and tricks, but it will be tried and true methods for staying happy in your partnership. But first, you're watching Fun to Know with Carol. I'm Carol, here with quick weekly videos that help interesting people like you connect with your curiosity. Now, on with the show. Originally, I thought I would sit down with my husband of 50 years and interview him to find out all the things that I do that make him happy. That's a bit of a joke there. Although I know he must have a list of happy things, I'm sure he has a list of unhappy things as well. That's just the nature of a relationship, isn't it? So if there's a mix of both happy and unhappy in a partnership, how can it survive, let alone thrive? Well, what I've discovered over the years is that there's a twofold secret here. Happy marriages are also strong marriages, and there are some very specific things we can do to strengthen our marriages, therefore helping the happiness factor. So I sought out a few people who, from the outside looking in, appear to have strong marriages, and I wanted to find out if that was indeed the case. The first family is the Alvarez family. Randy and Aggie have a darling son, Roman, who's 5 years old. They started out dating when they were just teenagers for about 8 years, and now they've been married for 12 years. Aggie is a beautiful soul who has a high degree of compassion and empathy for those around her, even those people that she doesn't know personally. I asked her what a happy partnership looked like in their household. Two very important words: understanding and communication. She said it comes down to being aware of the other circumstances and understanding why they feel a certain way rather than jumping to conclusions, and then talking it out. It makes for a lot of avoidable challenges. And their son sees the healthy interaction too, so there's that. And then it opens the door for her to explain more of why she's feeling that way. Like if she's upset, Randy will always say to her, "I understand," even if it's him that Aggie is mad at. So it's almost like they never have to say, "Let's talk it out." That creates a natural bridge for that. Two very simple words, "I understand," creates a lot of good things. But you know, if you're watching this far, you might be saying to yourself, but where are the secrets? I want to know the secrets because you don't know my partner. Understanding me is the last thing on their mind. Well, the real secret of all this is that it is a lot of hard work. That's not probably what you want to hear in this soundbite age, but that's the reality. But like anything else that you want to be strong, it's going to take hard work. You want a strong body, a strong mind, a strong home, a strong neighborhood. All of that takes hard work. Marriage is no different. So these are really the tools for strengthening the happiness factor in your marriage. In Aggie and Randy's case, the strengthening tool is the simple phrase, "I understand." Rather than waiting for the other person to say it to you, why not try being the first person to start it? Another couple that I've come to appreciate is Doug and Carlin. We met by Zoom so that you could see them in person and hear a little bit about how they met.
So we met in 2007, this month. So this will be 14 years this month.
Okay.
So we begin a 15th year together. Really this month, right? And we've been married. It'll be 7 years this December. And we met at an airport.
We met boarding a plane, literally.
Wow.
Yeah. So you just never know when you're at an airport. Don't wear sweatpants.
So if you're still looking for the special one, that's a traveling tip for you. Always look your best. You never know who you might meet.
So I'm sure this past 7 years has had its ups and downs. How would you categorize the happiness level in your marriage?
I mean, small, medium, large, and extra large, I would say large dash extra large.
And nothing's perfect. Everything takes work.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think when couples are together a long time, sometimes it's easy to fall into ruts and not appreciate or recognize or acknowledge or validate each other. So I think you have to work a little bit harder.
I would say just kindness. Just acts of human kindness, acts of kindness towards each other, kindness towards others. And it just builds that kind of good karma thing into your relationship. So as an example, I am an addict to coffee, and probably from essentially our second day, because this first day coffee was awful, and I told him so. Soon thereafter, we agreed on buying more expensive coffee than Folgers. And literally, I would say close to 90% of the days that we've been together, he brings me a cup of coffee in the morning. It's just like one of those incredibly kind things he does.
But seriously, you describe your happiness on a small, medium, and large scale, somewhere between large and extra large. Tell me where you see that happening in your marriage.
Well, I guess I would say we don't get caught up in stuff, and we don't hold grudges. And if we have a disagreement or argument or something, we move past it and then we're done. We complement each other.
And we have a very broad group of friends, and we like being with them. And
I think people see us living a good life, and part of it is a good part of it is just being together.
Yeah.
We're not like joined at the hip 24/7. We have individual interests and things that we want to do, and it's respected. And I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
We're going to transition to our third and final couple now. This is a good time for you to hit the like button, and let me just say thank you for subscribing. I'd love to hear a comment in the comment section about your secrets to a long and happy marriage. And here we are in our house. You are welcome to join us in our home, and this is my handsome husband, Ross. And I thought we would just share a couple of things. We've each thought of one or two things that we think makes for a happy marriage. So I'm going to ask Ross to start first.
Well, one of the things that came to my mind was, I think Aretha got it right. RESPECT, respect. And as I got to thinking about it, back when we were in our late teens and dating, that was a long time ago. And as we were dating, I'm sure respect would have made our list of characteristics someplace. But over time, it's grown. And I even find myself, I've journaled for decades, and I find myself, I don't even know if Carol knows this, but almost every time I journal, there's something about Carol that I appreciate. And that helps my respect for Carol to stay fresh in my mind and experience, and just keeps it growing.
So that was fun to know. We use that phrase a lot around this house. Oh, good. Well, right along those same lines, I think a huge factor is having a safe place with your partner, your spouse. I remember when we were just starting out, we were brand new married, and we were someplace where there was an elevator. I remember that much because we got into the elevator. I remember Ross saying to me, "You will never have to worry about me making any disparaging remarks about you to anybody else or to your face." And that was huge. I mean, I never have worried, oh, what's he going to say? Or am I going to get criticized when we get home? Or, that's never been an issue. And so having a safe place with your spouse, I think, is critically important. That is one secret that I think is worth pursuing.
And we still like each other. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, like and love. I think you need both in a happy marriage. The other one that I was going to say was something, again, that Ross said that stuck with me. And that is, I remember someone asking him, what's the secret to a long and happy marriage? And his answer was, sometimes you have to act your way into feelings. Okay, and by that, he means, you're not always going to feel loving. You act loving anyway. You're not always going to feel generous. You act with generosity anyway. It's absolutely true. It's not fake it till you make it. It's doing things that will get you to the place that you want to be, which is feeling loving. And so you do those loving actions, which ultimately takes you to the feelings of love. Wherever you are in the phase of married life or even considering marriage or partnership, there's definitely hope for a long and happy partnership together. A special thanks to Aggie and Randy and Doug and Carlin and my husband Ross for participating for this week's episode. I am working on something completely different for next week, so I hope you'll join me then. Just know in the meantime, I do appreciate you and your desire to learn something that's fun to know. Take care and have a great week ahead.